Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Lim Nakrin, and I know it's a little tough with that time change, so we're just waking up here. But look, I want to get to some of the top stories that we're following right now. Starting with this crash that is being investigated by Atlanta police. They're actually investigating a crash involving one of their own. So the officer being treated overnight at the hospital, and police say that the driver of the other car actually ran a stop sign here. So it all happened along Lakewood Avenue Southwest. Just give me a second. I need to get the graphic up for you. So this crash happened along Lakewood Avenue Southwest at the intersection of Pecan Drive just before midnight Sunday. So the front end of the police cruiser apparently was very badly smashed, with the driver's side front sustaining the brunt of the damage here. The police officer involved in the crash was taken to Grady Memorial Hospital. Thankfully, is expected to be okay, but certainly was quite a scare. Atlanta police say there were 3 people inside the other vehicle. One of them was taken to Grady and is expected to recover from their injuries. Police say the third person in the SUV actually ran from the scene. So police, of course, are still searching for that person who took off. The other 2 people who were inside the SUV are in police custody. They are facing possible charges. We're going to keep following the developments here on Atlanta News First and Atlanta News First Plus. All right, let's talk about this ongoing situation of violence near the GSU campus. It's something that we've been covering extensively here on Atlanta News First. And, we reported to you that there was another shooting recently, and there has now been a push to really stop the violence in that area. Remember that the gas station in the heart of campus recently closed down. So happening today, Atlanta City Council's Public Safety Committee is going to meet to talk about this continuous gun violence in downtown Atlanta near GSU's campus. Asia Wilson has more.
I spoke with some Georgia State University students on yesterday who say they feel unsafe with all the violence in downtown near their campus, some saying they fear they could be the next person to be gunned down. This meeting comes after police say a 25-year-old man was shot near the downtown campus on Saturday night. Police say he walked to the racetrack gas station on Piedmont Avenue to flag down an officer. That's the same gas station that permanently closed down at the end of February due to safety issues. Now, back in October, 4 people were also shot in this area. 2 of them were students. Just last month, 1 man was shot and killed there, and some students say they saw his body lying on the ground for hours. Now they're pleading for changes.
And I think the worst part with that last shooting was just how public it was, how everyone saw it after it happened, and his body was just left there for so long. And I think it's very traumatizing, for the student body as a whole to have to witness this sort of thing so regularly that we just kind of become used to it.
Atlanta City Council member Michael Julian Bond says today at 1 p.m. the Public Safety Committee will be asking Atlanta police some questions, including how they could work with campus police on better securing that area. In downtown Atlanta, Asia Wilson, Atlanta News First.
All right, also this week we are expecting a decision any day now really on whether Fani Willis will be disqualified in the election interference case involving former President Donald Trump. So a judge is set to make that ruling after hearing arguments on Willis's relationship with the special prosecutor Nathan Wade, as we've been reporting to you. Meanwhile, a Georgia attorney is eyeing the district attorney's seat. Willis could be, just had to clear up that little audio issue there. Willis could be facing Christian Wise Smith in her reelection bid this fall. That's according to a statement to CBS News. Willis had already filed for reelection. We're going to keep following all the developments here on Atlanta News First and Atlanta News First Plus. All right, let's talk about this tragic story.
Athens-Clarke County police are still searching for 2 suspects in the shooting death of...
So it's really a tragic story. We're talking about the death of a 3-year-old child. So the search continues this morning for 2 teenagers in connection to a shooting that left this 3-year-old child dead. The shooting happened on Spring Valley Drive in Athens on Friday evening, killing 3-year-old Kyron Zarko. Atlanta News First Bridget Spencer went to Athens as the community mourns the loss of this young life.
Athens Clark County police are still searching for 2 suspects in the shooting death of 3-year-old Kyron Zarko. The toddler was still inside his home when he was shot and killed Friday evening. Another child was shot as well, and an adult also hurt, but they were both expected to survive. Zarko's mother, Shanita Smith, too heartbroken to speak on camera, but she tells Atlanta News First she's planning a balloon release and vigil for Wednesday.
I would get along well with the kids since, kids are just they're friendly and lovey. They were so kind and sweet.
Joanna Carranza dropped off items at the makeshift memorial on Sunday. She knew the family in passing, but she says she will do all she can to support them.
We're a community here, and it's just a neighborhood, so it's no matter how well we know each other now, at the end, we're a community, so we have to support each other no matter what.
Police arrested 17-year-old Julian Cabillos. 2 others, 16-year-old Jaden Brown and 18-year-old Dakias Eccles, are still wanted. All are facing murder and gang-related charges. Meanwhile, Tiffany Hoy heard the gunshots Friday night.
I thought they were firecrackers, the shots. I didn't know they were gunshots.
She and her husband, Willie Ward, have lived in this neighborhood for 10 years. They say it's well past time to beef up on security.
The leasing office and stuff, they need to get real serious about this with these gunshots. Because, now somebody's baby is dead.
I lost my son through the violence like that, and it's nothing harder than burying a child. And this is just senseless.
As police work to make 2 more arrests, this community is wrapping their hands around the family as they deal with an unimaginable loss. There is now a reward for information that can help police track down those 2 other suspects. Shanita Smith tells me on top of losing her child, they also now are working on another place to live because a tree actually fell onto their home. So this family certainly is going through a lot. I have information about their fundraiser on AtlantaNewsFirst.com. Just click on this story. In Athens, Bridget Spencer, Atlanta News First.
And thanks so much to Bridget for that report. Of course, our thoughts and prayers with that family. Okay, let's talk about flood preparedness, flood safety preparedness, I guess I should say, because it is the first day of Flood Safety Preparedness Week. The Georgia Emergency Management Agency, working with the National Weather Service and several local agencies, to make sure that everybody's ready for when flooding happens. Each day has a different theme, and today is safety, preparedness, and awareness. So the agency's encouraging everyone, make a plan, build a ready kit, talk with people you live with so you're prepared in case there is any flooding. Hopefully not today. Hopefully not today. All right, let's toss things over now to First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi. I don't think it's happening today, but
no,
you would know.
That's right. Yeah, thankfully not today. We could use a little bit of a break from the rain after quite a rainy stretch of weather the past couple of days. Of course, our rainy stretch coming to an end early Saturday morning. But as you can see on your screen here, we do have a few more First Alert weather days in the forecast for more rain and potentially even some thunderstorms. So something we'll be watching very carefully for you as we head through the next few days. But again, Friday and Saturday are the focus days for us as we go into the end of the week and into the end of the weekend. And not only are we looking for the potential for rain, but also the potential for maybe a few thunderstorms as well. Not today. Today will be beautiful. We'll have a lot of sunshine in the forecast. Maybe a few extra clouds could stream in as we make our way into your lunch hour, but overall it's going to be a nice day. Giving lunch and dinner 4 stars. If you want to sit outside, it might be just a little too cool for that. The sun will still feel really nice for you, but maybe not necessarily warm enough just yet to feel super comfortable outside. But hey, if low 60s are your jam, then it'll be a great day for you for lunch and dinner. And notice now we can keep the sun icon on the dinner forecast because the sun doesn't set until closer to 8 o'clock. So for most of you having dinner, the sun will still be out, or maybe it'll be setting as you're kind of finishing up, which I'm sure is just wonderful. But not wonderful with the sun setting later. We lost that hour of sleep, and I know a lot of you are feeling it today because we sure are here at Atlanta News First. That early alarm felt even earlier this morning, which, yeah, it's normally a 2:20 a.m. alarm, feeling more like 1:20 this morning. Took a lot of coffee. I'm sure it did for a lot of you at home. High temperatures today. At least the weather's going to be great to start the week. We'll top out in the low 60s today. So overall, a really spectacular afternoon. Super comfortable. Not too hot, not too cold. Just right today. With, again, maybe a few passing clouds as we make our way into the afternoon hours. Not going to be near as breezy today either. That wind really going to die down, so you won't have to worry about that today. Let's take you into the overnight hours because we are going to be quite chilly through the overnight. In fact, cold. You are still going to need a coat as you step out the door tomorrow morning. Not near as cold as we were this morning. Some of us did drop below freezing. And some spots like up in the mountains, higher elevations could drop to that freezing point tonight, but we're not going to get into that freeze warning criteria. In fact, I don't think a lot of us even made it to that point. So if you want to cover any of your plants, I know a lot of the spring gardens probably starting to bloom a little bit. You can, but we're not necessarily going to have a hard freeze tonight. You'll just need to make sure you have the coat as you head out for work tomorrow, and the kids have plenty of layers as they head to school. Now, as we go through the next 6 days, I think you're going to really like these numbers. Temperatures will go back into the 70s tomorrow, and then believe it or not, we're going to be closer to 80 degrees on Thursday. 79 degrees for a high, our normal high being in the mid 60s. So we're definitely above that. It's going to be a wonderful week. And not to mention, we're going to see a lot of sunshine for the most part. We're going to be dry. So take every opportunity you can to get outside, whether it's taking the dog for an extra long walk, maybe you take lunch outside. I know personally I'm going to spend some time out on my back porch. It's just going to be a wonderful stretch of days. Of course, up until Friday and Sunday when we have our first alert weather days, and you can kind of see the temperatures gradually dropping as we head into the weekend. That's because the rain is all associated with a cold front that's going to move through. So let's talk about that. And I'm actually going to put this full so it's easier for you to see. Again, today, all the way through Thursday, we stay dry. You'll probably notice a few clouds build on Thursday ahead of our cold front. And models still need a little bit of work on the exact timing, and we'll get a better idea as we head closer to Wednesday on exactly the timing on Friday when we have some of our higher resolution models able to go out this far. But right now, models have definitely been favoring Friday afternoon and evening. Now, the thing about that is we're going to be in the low to mid 70s on Friday. So we'll have enough fuel. We should have enough moisture. So you put those two things together, the heat and the moisture, and you get something called instability, which is essentially fuel for thunderstorms. So not completely out of the question to have a strong storm on Friday afternoon. Way too soon to really determine that. But models are already hinting that we could have at least some ingredients for maybe a strong to severe storm. So something we'll be watching for you. Just a note, the Storm Prediction Center, sometimes they'll put outlooks further than day 3, so day 4, 5, 6 into 7. And if they do give you an outlook for that, that's when you're really like, okay, it looks like we're going to have the potential for severe weather. We are not in one of those outlooks, so it's definitely not a sure bet, but definitely going to be keeping an eye on Friday. And of course, just something to remember, we're in March. This is one of our more tornadic months in the state of Georgia. We're heading into our severe weather season in the spring. So just something we'll be watching extra carefully now that the temperatures are starting to warm, and naturally that brings a better chance for severe weather. Now Saturday, the better day of the two for the weekend, doesn't look completely dry, but we'll have the chance for a few scattered showers. And then Sunday, which is also St. Patrick's Day. I know a lot of you probably have plans to be out and about. There's a lot of block parties that go on all weekend long. Saturday will be the better day for it, but Sunday, that also looks to be an afternoon and evening event. That timing will also need some work. So maybe if you have like a brunch plan on Sunday for St. Patrick's Day, you might get away dry with the afternoon and evening becoming increasingly wet and potentially stormy. So something we'll be watching very carefully, and we'll nail down the timing better for both Friday and Sunday's first alert weather days as we get closer to. But right now, both kind of seem to be targeting the afternoon and evening. Here's a look at the forecast rainfall total. This is just one model. This is the European model. Now, this model hasn't been doing quite as well as the GFS when it comes to the timing, but the GFS was just a little bit aggressive on our rainfall last time. So I'm showing you the less aggressive numbers. We're looking at maybe 1.5 inches to close to 3 inches of rain as we head into the end of the weekend. Again, this is cumulative from Friday's rain all the way into Sunday's rain. This wouldn't necessarily promote a flash flooding concern. Of course, we were just talking about the flooding preparedness. We had flooding earlier in the week, last week, midweek. So something that we're definitely not immune to here in North Georgia. That's definitely something that you do need to be prepared for. We always say, turn around, don't drown. You don't want to drive in any standing water. Don't think that this is going to pose a huge flash flood threat for us, but we'll be keeping an eye on it. Definitely could lead to some ponding in the roadways and some of our more flood-prone streets. We could see some ponding there. So now, again, this is the less aggressive number, but we do have another model that's thinking some spots up in the mountains could experience close to 5 inches of rain. So if that's the case, we will talk about a flash flooding threat. But again, there's still some work to be done here, but we do want you to focus on Friday and Sunday as a cold front will move through, and then that'll sink south, could trap some moisture in because it won't sink south far enough to completely clear the area. So we could have a few lingering showers Saturday. A second comes in quickly behind it, and that will bring us our first alert weather day on Sunday, with more rain and storms possible in the forecast. So those are 2 days we want you to focus on. I'm sorry, I just ran into that microphone again. If you have plans on your Friday evening or on Sunday for St. Patrick's Day, definitely a forecast you want to pay attention to. That's why we're giving you that first alert weather day, just to give you a heads up. Those are a couple days to point your attention to. In the meantime, enjoy the beautiful weather, guys. It's going to just be stunning this week. Low 60s today after a really cold morning. We will have another cold morning tomorrow, so just be sure you're keeping those coats handy. And then we're back in the 70s for really the rest of the week. Mid 70s on Wednesday, just beautiful. We're going to be closer to 80 degrees on Thursday with those increasing clouds, and then the rain and storm chances unfortunately return just in time for the end of the work week and into the weekend. We'll keep you posted on all of that in the First Alert Weather app, so be sure you have that handy. All right, everyone, thanks so much for spending some time with us as always for your news and your weather. I hope you make it a great day, and we'll catch you here next time.